I just don't know what's real. It's hard to know.
So we all packed up. We're in Beatty, Nevada, which is the Burrow Inn. I can tell you that's where we always hold up at. And we take off from there every morning to go do the AM and the PM push. That's what you call it when the war is on. You call it the push. So we had one in the morning called AM push, one in the afternoon PM push. So we were all heading up for the AM push in a convoy. There's 3 vehicles, probably about 3 to 4 people per vehicle. I'm in the lead vehicle with the ranking guy. He's driving, and I'm right behind him. And then there's another gentleman in the passenger seat across from the driver, and then there's a young lady next to me. And we're all going up. And the ranking guy had been there the week before, and he had seen the craft fly by, because that one's out there on the internet. You can pull down the video. There's a report that goes along with it.
There's a video that we can watch right now?
Now, yeah.
What would he search?
Search for, let me think, Nellis Test Range UFO 1994.
Dun, dun, dun. Who filmed this?
This was filmed by the operators on the range, because we're putting these pilots in a risky situation by playing war with them, but we're training them. So if there is any kind of a mishap or a pilot or plane goes down, everything needs to be recorded. So this is
it right here?
Yes. So this video is being taken by one of these cameras that's up on the range. And along the bottom, you see that this is also trying to lock on to the craft so it can, follow it as it goes in and out, because this is the kind of way that you want to track if there's a craft that is having problems. And,
This is moving very erratically.
Right. So this is what the ranking guy saw.
Can I pause you for a second? This tracking, is this manual, or is this like some sort of automated system?
It's an automated system.
So the automated system is having a hard time
locking on
to it.
Yeah, if it locks on, you'll see a big spike, and that means that it finally locks on. Right now it's trying to, but something is stopping it from locking on. And they think it was the craft.
It's moving like crazy, side to side, all over.
There's actually a recording that goes with it where you hear the guys going, "Hey, does anybody know what this is? What's going on here?"
Can you hear that? Okay, the sound is terrible.
Yeah,
they need better mics.
Honestly, that's the way it sounds
podcast
working up there. But
anyway. I'm sure. But he's saying, "What is that? I don't know. We're having a hard time locking onto it."
Right. This is the video operator. So the following week after this happens, this video is taken. The ranking guy who had been there the week before and saw this thing flying, he takes us in this. When you go on the range through this one gate here. It goes up a little ways, and then there's a cantonment area. It's got a very small place where you can change your tires, get gas, just minor maintenance to get your butt home if you have a car that's busted. And then in the back of that cantonment area, there's 2 huts that look like campers, really, glorified campers. So the video operators are in the one that's off to the northeast of the cantonment, in the very corner of it. And the ranking guy just says, "We all have to go in here. We're going to go talk to the video operators. We have to do this." And this was because the week prior, everybody came back to garrison or back to our unit, and they had seen this thing, and they were all talking about this UFO. So we go in there, and there's the video operator. He has us all write our names down, whether we were there and saw it the first week or not. Then he makes us all sit down and watch that video. And he says, "Do you know what this is?" And we're like, "No." And then he just said, "Okay, thank you." And then after everybody that was there saw it and wrote their name down, we were allowed to leave. And that was all that was required. And so I was like, "Well, what was that all about?" But then as I'm exiting, this lady that had been sitting against the wall on the far part of this little hut that we were in, and she grabs my arm and she just says, "There's somebody on the range. Don't talk to him." And she was really, really freaked out. And I'm like, "Thanks, strange, freaky lady. Got it." And I'm like, whatever. So we all hop out, we get in the vehicles, and then start taking off towards Quartz Mountain, because right at that cantonment area, there's a hard right. there's a hard right that goes off to Quartz Mountain. And about a mile, half a mile to a mile down that road, it's all dirt road up, by the way, there's this guy. It looks like he's wearing a uniform like we are. Got battle dress uniform on. So he sees us and he starts to look like he's running, and he's got this really weird run, like his arms are kind of flailing behind him. It's like he was running against the hurricane wind, and it was like he was going to fall over at any time. And I was like, yeah, it's a bit windy today, but it ain't that bad. So it looked really strange. And then I began to notice his skin tone looked like he might be hypothermic. And I'm thinking, oh crap, this dude's been out here. It's freaking freezing out here, because it was a very cold day and the wind was blowing. It was, those cold days where it didn't matter how many layers you had on. And so as we're getting closer, I'm talking to the ranking guy. Hey, we need to slow down. So anyway, I'm thinking this guy's probably in big trouble. I need to pull off my jacket. I need to give him something to get warm real quick. So I'm starting to do that, and we're approaching. And by the time I get my jacket most of the way off, he's right there at the corner of the front of the car. And
so he looks pale? Is that what you're saying?
He looked like an albino with a very bluish kind of undertone. If you could imagine,
So you're assuming you're immediately associating that with he's freezing.
Yeah, because that's all I could equate it to.
Right.
And then as I'm starting to open my door to try to administer aid to this guy, the dude in the front passenger seat screams he's got no ears. And I thought that was pretty rude, because I was like, the guy's in trouble.
Does he have a hat on? He's
got a hat on, and he's got BDUs that look absolutely clean, pristine. And when you're uprange, you do not wear your cleanest uniform. You're in a dirty environment. You wear your scuffed up boots. You don't take them with you.
So he's got clean battle dress uniform.
Everything.
United States military.
Very out of place. Yeah, it looks very out of place when I finally do it. But anyway, I step out onto the roadway, and this guy screams that he's got no ears. And I just thinking it's really rude. And then I close the door and I look up, and he's got no freaking ears. And his eyes are twice as big. And I just am like, yeah, what the hell did I just walk into? This guy's not from around
How
here.
far away from him are you?
Probably from me to
just a few feet.
Yeah, just talking distance.
Okay.
And I'm starting to freak out, but then he starts to talk to me, and it's not my language, but it's coming to the understanding is like coming into my mind about every word he's saying. So
he's actually saying words.
He's saying words, but it doesn't sound like anything I've heard before.
But you're understanding what he's saying.
But I'm understanding. So I know there's a telepathic thing going on here, and it calms me down at the same time because I'm having to respond to him. And he's like, hello, I'm having trouble with my craft. I need some repair material. Do you know where I could find some tritium? And this is what he's talking to me about. And I'm like, you mean titanium? Because I didn't know anything about tritium at the time. But titanium, he's like, no, it's not it. And I'm like, well, at this point in my career, I had just left the program. So I knew where Dreamland was. And I pointed to the mountain range because you can see for days in the desert. But I pointed towards the mountain range and I said, Dreamland's just over there. And this wave of emotion hit me like disgust. Like, I am not going to talk to barbarians and murderers.
Wow. So he was saying that to you, his reaction to going to the military base.
Exactly. Yeah. He did not like it. He said, I am not going to talk to those people. And then I was like, well, shoot.
And it was barbarians and murderers?
He literally, that was what he called them, yes. And mentally, that's what it was. But the emotion.
Tritium, is this a real thing?
Well, that's what, I've had a lot of friends. There's analysts also that were on the top secret network that were trying to help me understand what material.
We're throwing everything at him. We're like, is it this? Is it this? And
then finally, no. That's the one, when they hit tritium, I was like, that's what it was. That's what he said.
And what is tritium?
It's a type of, can he bring it up on the?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because it should pop up on Wikipedia pretty quick. But it has some properties that probably would work.
Are you saying tritium?
Yeah, tritium is, that's the stuff that's in loom. Like in your watch, when your watch glows, that's, they make those where they're basically radioactive isotopes that stay lit. So like if you get like a Marathon watch, Marathon makes military watches, and it doesn't need like this watch. You need the light and the light charges the loom, and then when it's dark out, you could read the hands for like a few
It's
hours.
the thing that they used to put on the end of the guns, right?
Exactly, they still do. A lot, like SIG has them on
Look
their
up
guns.
tritium also. Put an end
Tritium
in
is
there.
just a lot. It's
I did that. That's not giving me much.
so tritium, chunky glow in the dark glitter. What is that?
These are all these are game websites.
Oh, I see.
I don't know.
Okay, so what's tritium? Then I may be mispronouncing
But
it.
tritium that's that radioactive isotope.
Mhm.
That's the stuff that emits light.
Yep.
So emits a weak form of radiation.
Yes.
A rare radioactive isotope of hydrogen with a half-life of 12.3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this is what he's asking me for.
So he's asking you for that stuff? Tritium?
Yep. And I'm like, I don't know where to get.
Oh, look at that. It's used in boosted fission weapons and thermonuclear weapons. Oh, great.
That sounds really
I wonder what the fuck it's doing on your wrist. Is there anybody...
This is what the best image that we have of what he could have looked like.
Oh, boy. Can you send that to Jamie?
Yeah, I don't know Jamie's number, but we'll find a way to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
if
on
I
my
had,
phone?
if I had my phone, I would, but it's
Airdrop
out
it to
there,
me.
I think.
Yeah, airdrop it to Jamie. Do you know how to do that?
There was
How
that
dare you
one.
not know how to do that?
Oh, and there's a
Your
three-dimensional.
guy works with UFOs. You better know how to do that.
Well, there's a three-dimensional image of the craft as well that is really spot on from what I saw that day.
Yeah.
Because not only did I see this guy running towards us and talking to him, but off the shoulder on the north side of the roadway, that's where the craft was just resting on the desert floor. And I got a really good look at it at that point. And this guy did a 3D rendering of the description, and it's spot on as I've ever seen. It's almost perfect.
So he asks you for tritium. You tell him dreams. This is what it looked like.
This is what the guy looked like. Pretty close to it.
Yo.
The nose was a little bit rounder on the end, but that was a really good rendition. But yeah, his eyes almost came out to here on the temple.
Wow. And that would freak me out.
It freaked me out. I mean, honestly, I'm not an easy guy to get freaked out, but that really put that, like you just saw an alligator pop up out of the water kind of thing.
Right. So when you tell him go to Dreamland, it says, I'm not going to go where those murderers and barbarians are. And then what happens?
And he said, no. So I was like, well, where else can I possibly point him to? Because I'm like, I don't know any metallurgists or whatever. So I'm thinking to myself, and I relayed to him. I said, well, I'm taking college classes down in the city of Vegas, Las Vegas, at the community college. But I have a geophysical professor that I'm taking a class from. Maybe he has a metallurgist friend, and he's like,
so you're thinking at this time though it's a metal.
I am, yes.
Right, because you're thinking it's some kind of like titanium, some type of.
Right. And there's also when
This is the 3D image of what the craft looks
that
like.
is almost as spot on as I've ever seen. That is about it right there. That's almost exactly what I saw resting on the desert floor.
And so you're trying to find different people that you can connect this being to.
Yeah.
And what is it saying to you while you're?
He thought that was a good idea, I think, or he was like, I mean, made him. He had that kind of, and he wanted to take action. So he doesn't really even say goodbye. He just kind of turns and off he goes back to his craft. And I'm thinking, well, okay. And I get back in the car, and sometime during that conversation with this entity, I remembered looking over at my friends in the car, and they had the weirdest look on their face, like they were all zonked out, totally zombied, like they couldn't even. They were just drooling on themselves.
Were they just because they were flabbergasted, or was it because something was going on?
Well, I figured out that maybe it was done by this entity because none of them seemed to even remember the incident. Only a few people seems to remember that we stopped, that we had talked to somebody on the roadway, but it was mainly the people that were in the back of the convoy.
So they didn't see it up close like you did.
Right, like we did. The people that were
how far
right
away
there,
would they be?
they'd probably be a good 2 car lengths behind us.
That's still enough to detect whether or not someone looks blue, though, right?
Correct, and that's probably what they saw. But you know me, I'm kind of wide and I'm big. I was very muscular back then.
And you're standing in front of this thing.
So they'd have a difficult time because this guy stood about a good half foot shorter than me. And so they probably could see his arms from time to time, maybe catch a glimpse of his face or something. So they probably didn't get a very good view because if you're looking at me, I'm standing right next to my door. Mm-hmm. And they're behind me kind of almost obfuscated by just the angle that they're looking at him. So all the windows are tinted in those vehicles.
That's what Bob Lazar thinks that spaceship that he worked on was made with. He thinks it was somehow 3D printed because it has no seams. You paying attention to this UFO shit? No? Good for you.
No, but I know you do, so I'm gonna ask because it's like the shit just. There's so much shit that's just coming out now. I don't understand what's the motive behind it just randomly coming out now.
Yeah, I'm super suspicious.
So what's the place? Area
51?
Area 51.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming that shit has been real.
That's real. Yeah. But Area 51 was used for all sorts of training purposes. They had all sorts of programs that were running out there. I think that's where they developed the B-52. Is that where they developed it, in Area 51? They developed a bunch of different military technologies out there.
So nothing was true about the...
We don't know. We don't know. It's all just guessing about whether or not they were working on UFOs. But they were definitely working on other stuff, too. It's a legitimate military base.
So you think these videos real? That's coming out? Or you think it's...
I think the videos are real. What they're filming, I don't know what that is. It could be that it's some super sophisticated U.S.-controlled drone that was built in some sort of program that's top secret, and it has some new super sophisticated propulsion system that they don't want us to know about. And so they pretend it's coming from another world. And they say, oh, these are off-world crafts exhibiting behavior that's impossible to replicate in America. I wonder. Because if they're talking about it like that, they're literally saying off-world, like, boy, I get suspicious. Because they're not super honest about anything.
No,
why would they be honest about spaceships?
And then it just randomly happens now.
Yeah, it's another nice distraction. It gets people all excited. Yeah, the fucking fake little Mexican UFO baby.
They're doubling down.
No, they're not.
They took it. This is from the MRI yesterday. They said it's one skeleton.
What did they find that at?
Like they're trying. Other like American scientists are saying, well, then let people test samples of it or something. But
did they have images from the MRI?
I don't know that they showed those actual images, but the doctor that took it, he said right here, they belong to a single skeleton that has not been joined to other pieces.
Interesting. Footage from the team carrying out the test shows one of the bodies bearing an elongated head, a small upturned nose, and two slanted eyes. The subjects look tiny when held up by the doctors examining the watching journalists. Huh.
And this also is like this person says that I think it's the doctor has claimed that he talks to the Virgin of Guadalupe, and the extraterrestrials will not talk to her like they talk to him because she doesn't believe in them.
Maybe he does drugs. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he did talk to the Virgin of Guadalupe. So that's what it's supposed to be. I want to see what those images look like. They don't have them.
You ever notice how none of the images be clear?
Yeah.
On shit like that we really want to see?
Yeah, it's a real problem. I talked to this one guy, Christopher Mellon. He used to be an intelligence agent, and he said that they do have clear footage. It just hasn't been leaked, but that he's aware of it, and some of it is pretty mind-blowing, he said.
Damn.
Show me. Until I see it. I don't know, man. I feel like a dummy. Because I want to believe in it so bad. That's the problem. Because it's so fun. The idea of spaceships coming here from another galaxy.
I don't know how fun, especially if they ain't friendly.
Well, if they weren't friendly, we'd already be fucked, right? I mean, if they've been coming here forever, supposedly, and they haven't hurt us yet, we're probably okay. I think they're probably observing us. They're probably, if they are coming from another world, they're probably making sure we don't blow ourselves up. They're probably realizing that we're at this convergence of the evolution of the biology and then science and technology and its abilities that far surpass like the speed that the biology evolves. Like the biology evolves very slowly relatively compared to these computers. The things that they're able to do, these spaceships and the flying cars, and it's like we have so much ability now, and we're still the same kind of creature. We're still humans, but now we have this insane ability to blow up a whole country Like, we have nuclear bombs. We're all pointing them at each other, and there's enough to wipe out the whole world. Like, if I was an alien, I'd be like, let's keep an eye on these crazy fucks. You know, these people are wild. Let's keep an eye on them. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm gonna keep my distance from that.
Yeah.
I don't want to fly to Mars. I don't want to do none of that shit. I just, man, live my life.
Yeah. It's gonna be a long time before people get comfortable moving to Mars.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's gonna be, but that's a fucking commitment.
Didn't they have somebody recently go? Are they letting people go now?
No, they haven't let people go yet. They've sent drones. So they have the Mars rover that goes around on Mars, but that's just a robot. But the idea is to have people on Mars. I think, didn't Elon say by like 2035 or something like that, he wants a manned trip to Mars?